This is really meant to be really informal and casual and helpful for anyone interested in participating in our Native American plunge coming up July 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And so I don't have a big presentation. If everyone is basically familiar, I think we can do this mostly as question and answer. Or if anyone here, doesn't really have the landscape of what it is that we're doing, we can provide that. We are so fortunate to have Kineret Ando, who has participated in this event a number of times, and Roshi Grover Genro Gauntt, who we have this event because of Genro. It's really been Genro's intimate relationships with Native American elders, in the Black Hills, in South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, elsewhere, over the years for a long, long time, and his leadership and relationships there that we have this event to look forward to. Um, I was going to say sadly, but there's nothing sad about it. Last year, we needed to go online with this event for reasons that everyone knows, um, and and as such, we offered uh, a virtual event that had its own benefits. It was a different kind of a thing, but happily, we're able to be back on the land in July, and I know. A number of people here on this call are registered, signed up to go. Welcome, Bob. Good to see you. Hi. So let's just open up. Presumably, folks came because you have questions, and we'll try to answer anything if it's more along the spirit of the event, or and I'll tell you, I just began in my role just a little over a year ago, and so I was not able to go in person last year. It would have been my first time. So if there's questions that really have to do with, what are things like when we're there, what to expect, I'll defer to Genro and Ando. If it's more operational or logistical or things like that, I can field those questions. So please, I can see everybody. We don't need to get too formal with electronic hands. Just go ahead and wave your hand and unmute yourself and ask a question if you have one.
Okay, I guess that's it.
I'm go- I'm going for coffee and a Danish, I guess. Somebody must have a question. Okay, Mark. Thank. I knew I could rely on you.
Yeah, what are things like on the ground, and what will it be like when we're there? I guess specifically, my question is, so it appears we're all staying in the same place. There's some are camping, and some will be staying, I guess, in rooms at this lodge. And so I'm assuming that there's food available. There are restaurants. Is there a restaurant on the premises? Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Mark,
so
at the lodge there is a restaurant, and for those that have registered, which would be Mark and Jens and Nancy and Bob, uh, I hope you have made your reservations directly with the lodge already. If not, do so immediately. Um,
yeah,
yeah, do it right away. And they have a lot of camping space around the lodge, but they have quite a number of rooms. But you know, the, it'd be important to get there, get your reservation in soon. But Genro, as far as how things are on a day-to-day basis, maybe you could comment a little bit about that.
How things are on a day-to-day basis. Well, depends on the weather,
Yeah.
right? We're going to be, I'm sure you've read the introductory material. We're going to be, when we're at the medicine wheel, which is our primary destination the first few days, it's at 9,400 feet. So be sure to be ready for any kind of weather. Could be warm, could be quite cool, might rain. So yeah, be prepared for changes in weather. How things are, we really function together as a community. And although we have a schedule, the schedule is always subject to change. And so we ask you to be aware of, what is happening next and where to be. Things flow in a different way than in any sort of conference or retreat you've been in. They're far more open, gentle. Yeah, the schedule could slip quite a bit and we'd still be on time. So yeah, just be prepared to arrive with open hearts and open minds, and the three tenets of the Zen Peacemakers flowing in your hearts, and it would be lovely. Look forward to being with you all.
If I can add just a little bit, generally our schedule will be, arriving Thursday, traveling and arriving Thursday, and then beginning on Friday, we'll be orienting together. Arvel Looking Horse will be helping us with that. Saturday we'll be at the medicine wheel for a constellation ceremony, and I don't want to exaggerate this point, but I think normally we may, or Genro, please correct me if I'm misstating this, we may or may not normally have been able to attend this. We Manny and Renee made contact with Cedric as part of the group, and we can attend this ceremony, which is really going to be special. And then Sunday we will gather again and process and discuss and share and be together. And then the next couple of days we'll be at a couple of other sites. Please, Genro. Yes.
Well, yeah, let me just add a little bit more about what we're doing on Friday and Saturday. So Friday is a day we come together as a group, our first day in retreat. What we're really doing is preparing the group to attend a ceremony at the medicine wheel, which is an ancient holy site used for thousands of years by many tribes, including Lakota, of course, and Crow and Cheyenne, Arapaho, many others. And this is one of a set of ceremonies which will be held close to the new moon, which is approaching us now. It will be new moon in a couple days here. But it's one of at least 7 ceremonies that were held on an annual basis until our native community was threatened by colonialism and imperialism. Those ceremonies are held in conjunction with the stars. Lakota people say they're star people, came from the stars. And the constellations in their movements are in complete line with these holy sites that they do ceremony at. Ceremonies for gratitude and appreciation and prayers for a good year for all the family. And this one at the medicine wheel, I'm not familiar with, but yeah, as Geoff said, we wouldn't even know about it if it wasn't for our elder family. And fortunately, they were able to secure an invitation for us to be with them. So Friday, we're being prepared by Arvel Looking Horse, who's the 14th generation holder of the buffalo calf pipe, brought by white buffalo calf woman, Pte Sawin, a long time ago. And he's a wonderful man deeply rooted traditional ways, Lakota speaker, and it'll be a real privilege to have him with us. His wife, Paula, will likely be with him, and yeah, along with our other Native elders, we're really deeply supported by some really, really beautiful people who you'll fall in love with if you don't know already. Yeah.
Thanks, Genro. That's really rich. I appreciate that. Ginger, I think maybe you had a question before. Hi, go ahead.
Actually, my question is mainly logistics. Like, so how is it gonna work? Because I'm coming from the West Coast. I haven't registered yet, so I'm just like planning on how, like, once I get there, do I need a car? Should I drive? Should I fly? Where am I staying? That sort of thing. Like, I've been to the first Native American retreat in South Dakota, but that was a totally different thing. That was like luxury glamping, you know, like it was bathrooms and, you know, everything was there. So I'm just wondering this one, how logistically it'll work. So if you can give me a little bit more information, I can plan it a little bit and look at tickets and car rentals and that sort of thing.
Great question, and I think the answer will really benefit perhaps more than a few people here. Our travel days will be Thursday the 8th and Wednesday the 14th. And we say that because we want to start right away on Friday morning the 9th and not have people still traveling in from elsewhere. And we'll have a full day on Tuesday the 13th. So, you know, getting out right away unless you're driving could be tricky. Most people are flying in, and people are. Bob is here on the call. Bob's flying to Rapid City, which is about a 4-hour drive away. Bob, I think that's about right. Others are flying into Sheridan, Wyoming, which is a small airport, but it is serviced by United. And I think it's about 40 miles from the lodge where we'll be staying. Some are probably flying into Billings, Montana, I would think, too. You will need ground transportation, you know, and all of these, you know, individuals are arranging, you know, travel, lodging, and meals and so forth. You will need ground transportation. We got the heads up that car rentals in Sheridan, at least, and perhaps even in Rapid City, are a little bit thin and wildly expensive. I don't know if wildly is the right word, but at any rate, what we've
It's
done.
the right word.
Yeah, Mark knows what we've done already, and we will do again as more people register. Is to share everyone's email address who's registered, and encourage people to coordinate and share cars. I'm arriving at Sheridan on Thursday afternoon at 2. Well, I'm arriving at 4:30. Well, I'll wait for you if we can. We'll split the rental. That type of a thing. So it's it's ad hoc, but it'll work that way. I'll get to you in just a sec, Brett. I see you there. Let's see the rest of the logistics. When you register, we will give you the information for how to contact Bear Lodge Resort near Dayton, Wyoming. And you can look this up on the map to see where we're going. But it is west-northwest of Sheridan, Wyoming, up in the Bighorn Mountains. And it's, I think, about 25 miles, 27 miles or something like that from the Medicine Wheel. So you'd be arranging your either your lodging or your camping directly with the lodge. And once again, I encourage anyone who's not registered, who is inclined to attend, to do that soon. Ginger, does that give you enough to go by for now? Genro, do you want to add?
Yeah, let me just add. If you've got some time in your summer schedule, don't leave right away. because it's a beautiful area. Yellowstone is an hour away, something like that. And there are many, many beautiful places in the area. So to spend some time to just relax and enjoy the wide open spaces, please avail yourself of that time and opportunity. Yeah.
And Genro, we call it Devil's Tower, but how far away is Bear Lodge?
I'm not sure. A couple hours probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The native name is Greyhorn Butte or Mato Tipilo. Yeah, beautiful place also. And a holy place.
Brent, go ahead, and welcome, by the way, Brent. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm very glad to be here. I was on the retreat, which is a weird word for it, at Auschwitz in 2016, which was a profound experience in my life. And I just saw this yesterday, I think. So I'm interested in exploring if it'll be feasible for me and my wife to come. Two questions also on the logistics. One, could you just repeat the name of the lodge?
Bear Lodge Resort. And once you've registered, we'll provide you an information packet that'll have that information, phone number and email address, and the woman's name, who is sort of loosely holding a block of rooms for us.
Got it. So we could either stay in the lodge or we could camp. It sounds like either of those are options.
Not having been there, I can't visually describe this for you, Brent, but I understand that they have, I think what she said was about 75 camp spaces. Now, I don't know if that means, 15 by 15 squares of grass, or if it literally means a place where an RV could pull in and park. I honestly don't know. So
we'd be a little more on the backpacker end of things than the RV end of things.
Yeah.
The other question was about the ground transportation. So it wasn't clear, or I didn't understand. Do we just need ground transportation to get from the airport to the retreat, or will we also need ground transportation at the retreat to get in between where we're staying and where we're going?
Excellent question. And the answer is the latter of those two.
Okay.
Because from the lodge, we will, on Saturday morning, we'll drive up to the Medicine Wheel, or as close as we can get to it. So we'll need cars to get up there, and then obviously back down again.
Sure.
Friday and Sunday, I imagine will be stationary, but Monday and Tuesday we will be moving to other sites, probably closer back towards Sheridan, but to be determined at this point.
Got it. And it sounds like, sorry, one last question on that. It sounds like these distances, and I don't have a map here. My wife and I are both avid cyclists, but it sounds like these are larger distances than that we would cover on a bicycle. It sounds like we really need a car, or to share a car with somebody else who's part of the program.
The notes I have, and I could be wrong here, but it says 22 miles Sheridan to Dayton, but I think to the lodge is a little further than that, perhaps.
Yeah, and it's uphill all the way.
Both ways.
And then it's 27 miles up to the Medicine Wheel from the lodge.
All right, so we need an engine. Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Jen, hi.
There was a note that said that it was 49 miles to the lodge, and it took a little over an hour from Sheridan.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you.
I'll update my notes. I think that's right, Jen. Thank you.
Geoff?
Yes, hi.
Hi. I'm Chris, and I was on several plunges in the past, and I'm late to thinking about this for this summer. Just realized there was an information meeting today, and so there's some chance I might come. Don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious about how late you would recommend that somebody might register and be assured to be included. And I also have some experience camping in the Bighorns. It can get really cold, but it is really beautiful camping. I don't know if that's where the campground is, Geoff, that you were talking about, or if it's more something that's closer to Dayton and and where the group would be staying.
Well, there's 2 or 3 questions there, Christine, and I'm so glad you're on the call and considering this. You have time. We are a little bit better than half registered at this point. That could change rapidly. Thanks to Kineret's idea the other day, a number of us sort of reposted, and Genro also was instrumental in asking that we get a flyer that we could repost through social media, and all of us did that. So imagine collectively among all of our social media lists, there's thousands of people that got this information. So this could change rapidly. So I can't tell you that there's a guarantee that if you did this in 2 weeks, that there would be space, and we're kind of feeling our way along. Somebody just chatted something, and if it's a chat that went to everyone, is this the spot? Bear Lodge Mountain Resort? Yes, Brent.
Thank you.
And that went to everyone. So in the chat, there's a URL, and you can see what it looks like. Christine, my understanding is the camping is literally right there at the lodge.
Okay, great.
And you can Google map the lodge and find out exactly where Burgess Junction is, and see that.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I also appreciate your comment, and Genro mentioned this, but I want to underscore this again. I'm about halfway here. I live at 7,100 feet in the Rockies in Colorado, so we're somewhat acclimated. But for those of you coming from moist, lower elevation, moist, lower elevation areas, the lodge is at 3,900 feet, and as Genro said, the medicine wheel is 9,640. So it's something to be aware of for sure. And and we're in the arid West, and it is bone dry most of the time. Now, on the other hand, it could rain every day we're there too. That's a feature of the Rockies. So, but you just need to be prepared both ways. Head to toe rain coverage, and then also prepare for it to be 95 degrees with 5% humidity. So, bottled water, sunscreen, hats, long sleeve, lightweight shirts, all of that. And Genro and Kineret could probably comment a little bit more about some of those things, but I wanted to mention that too. And mosquitoes.
Ticks?
Well, this is going to be a tick season. It's been really wet in the Rockies this year. Again, I'm down outside of Boulder, Colorado, up in the Front Range, a little over 7,000 feet, and we've got ticks already. And we normally don't see ticks where we are. So, yep, I would bet there's going to be ticks. Yes, please, go ahead.
Just another question is the thinking to stay off the reservation to protect from COVID concerns, and I just was curious.
Well, I'll answer part of that question, but I'd like to hear maybe from Genro here too. We didn't deliberately plan it that way. I mean, we very did plan to be at the medicine wheel, but we are also being hyper diligent, and this is an important thing for me to say, about insisting that everybody attending not only have been vaccinated, but show us. So in the information packet, you'll see that we need to have you send an image of your COVID card, because we really do want to be careful. I think by and large the reservations have done a really good job of protecting themselves, but we don't want to have any part in moving disease in there. Genro, is there anything you want to add about that as far as the reservations?
We weren't avoiding being on the reservations. Of
Yeah.
course, we knew about that. We knew about that health issues, we were, in fact, hopefully going to be on the Pine Ridge Reservation at a beautiful place they've got there, International Healing Center, which also serves as a Zen center because the people who run it, Lakota natives, are also Zen students. So we did ask them for a slot in actually late July, and they'd actually planned a session at that time. But what happened within a week of the time we were talking was the reservation closed down due to COVID, and they've got roadblocks. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, and they'll change from reservation to reservation because they all operate on their own tribal government. So yeah, if you know people, visit the reservations. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also potential time for powwows at that time. So look around.
Thanks, Genro. Any other questions? Anything else we can add? Hi, gents.
On the process, will there be a sweat lodge?
I would say likely not. Not because of the group or any prejudices they have, but I'm not aware of sweat lodges at this mountain lodge or where we'll be going. So there will be ceremony, which will be beautiful. So we will be in ceremony with the people.
Hi, Ginger.
What is the maximum capacity of the group? Like, how many people will there be?
40 plus ish. You know, we haven't set, sort of firm numeric guidelines here. In the past, I think that's been roughly, Genro and Kineret know more than I do, but I think a number of years ago there were quite a lot of people, like over 100 perhaps. But
It was 200 when I first time
Yeah.
when I was there.
Yeah.
It was over 200.
Yeah. In 2019, it was smaller. It was more like this sort of number. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So the reason is because we're on the road and moving from place to place, larger groups really are harder to work with. So, and the smaller, the more intimate, simply. So,
Yeah.
Kineret's been trying to say something.
Oh,
And I'm waving to students as they're walking in the room. Last day of school here. I was gonna just add to the question that came up, Ginger, and people were asking, and Brent also, about sort of the road and the travel dynamics. This builds on a comment that Genro made a little earlier, which is that I think I've been twice or three times, and I think one of the richest invitations for me of the plunge, and the specific plunge, is leaning into community and leaning into reaching out for help, reaching out for support in ways that even might feel a bit uncomfortable. I know that I drove. Drove and shared car rides, and I think, as Geoff said, like, there'll be a WhatsApp group of all the folks who, as they're signing up, and really encourage as much as possible to not have to be self-sufficient, but really open up your space to others and ask for help from others. Because I think, for me, one of the things about this gathering is it like becomes a family so quickly, because you're on the road, because it's so small, and because we need each other to kind of just help each other. We forgot things, and instead of going out and buying it, just asking around the space for who might have that. So just wanted to put that plug, that as you do research, just see what other people already might have.
Thank you, Kineret. That's great. Anyone, anything else? This I hope this is helping. This is really good. And as is always the case in a Q&A session, the question that one of you has is probably on someone else's mind too. So we're really, Liz, thank you for being here. I see you have to go. So bye-bye.
Ah,
Hi, Bob.
Hey, what time do you think we should try to gather on Thursday?
There are no events planned for Thursday, Bob. So I really expect, and I think it would be probably virtually impossible to try to manage it otherwise, that people will be, arriving from late morning until probably later on in the evening. And then we'll be gathering on Friday morning. Kineret, so there's no specific time on Thursday, Bob, to answer your question. Kineret mentioned the WhatsApp group. Anyone who's already registered, if you don't use WhatsApp, please join. You do it on your phone. And it works cross-platform, meaning on iPhones or Android technology. And it's the main way that we communicate. And I will, as soon as we have a few more people registered, I'll be pressing that point a little bit and setting up a group for this particular event of just the attendees. Nancy, hi.
So I hate to ask this question, but is there internet access there at the lodge?
Thanks for asking that. And I need to, when I talk to Roberta, I'll ask her. I don't know the answer. I don't want to speculate. I would guess probably, because so many places do these days. But I would almost guarantee once you get away from the lodge, probably not the case.
Right.
And we're relying on, X number of G's on our phones to connect. And once again, that's a good reason why WhatsApp is reliable, because it's a fairly robust platform that works around the world and is encrypted. And, if you're going to be able to connect to anything, you can probably connect to WhatsApp. But I'll look into that, and I'll find an answer to that.
I also unfortunately have to bow off. I have some logistics I'm going to have to figure out, if in the likely event that I have further logistical questions, less about the content, actually two things. One, in terms of the content and the vibe, is it reasonable for me to be looking back to my experiences on the Auschwitz retreats as a general sense of the vibe, even as we're in very different circumstances?
go in with a mind of not knowing and just be open. That's the general instruction.
That sounds like the main thing I learned at that first retreat. So it sounds like well placed here.
Okay.
On the level of things that I would need to know, just in terms of logistics and cars and all of that level of things, if I have further questions, is there somebody I can email or call about that sort of stuff?
I am changing my name to my email address. Now, I hope I'm more or less than an email address, but
we are all more and less than an email address.
That's a discussion for another day. Nonetheless, feel free, to reach out to me with anything, any even if you think it's silly or trivial. Please reach out, and I'll do my best to answer. And again. I wouldn't mind checking. Mark and Bob and Jens and Nancy, you all have received an information packet at this point, I would believe. Mark, have you?
I'm going to bow off here. Thank you.
Okay, Brent, thank you.
I received something. I don't know that I would call it a packet. It gave information about the lodge, but I don't think there was very much else there.
Well, there's a document
how to communicate with the lodge.
Document that's, I don't know how many pages, 6-8 pages or something like that. Yeah, if you don't have that, let me know and I'll send it to you again.
PDF. Yeah.
I'll go back and look.
Yeah, it's a PDF of a document.
Okay, I may have
Okay.
overlooked it.
Anybody have another question? Again, thank you so much for leaning into this and participating. It helps everyone. So we've already begun the plunge in some ways, I guess.
Jeff, I just want to say, with respect to the issue of transportation for your benefit and anybody else who's on the call, my original intention was to get there and rent a car. And then I said, whoever, needs a ride, whether they can help expenses or not. And then I saw how expensive they were. And there were several other people offering rides, and I've contacted them. I haven't nailed anything down yet. But if there's somebody who really needs a car and wasn't able to get a ride and wasn't able to get a ride with somebody else, I would still be amenable to going ahead and renting a car if I knew that there were other people who needed a ride.
Thank you for that, Mark. Yeah, this is how this will really, help us move forward together as a group. So sooner than later, I'll get into the WhatsApp and try to set up this group, and then people can be talking even as soon as right away next week about such issues. So that'll be great.